Hi guys, welcome back to my vlog. This is Stan here with you. Well, in today's vlog, I'll show you how you can change your diesel engine car's fuel filter. The car we have here is a 2012 Hyundai Verna 1.6 CRDI diesel engine. Internationally, it's called the Hyundai Accent. This will be a step-by-step DIY guide, so stay tuned. So the first thing you'll need for the DIY is the fuel filter cartridge. This cost me 1740 rupees including shipping, and this is the part number 319224H001. It's an original OEM product. So along with the fuel filter, you'll also need a 10 mm wrench like this, a 10 mm spanner, a 12 mm spanner, a fuel filter wrench, and a liter of fresh diesel. And that's all you need for this DIY. Now the diesel fuel filter is located exactly behind the battery. Now if this is your battery, right there is your diesel fuel filter. Now to remove the fuel filter or to get access to it, you need to remove the battery first. So that's what we are going to do right now. We'll remove this. So the first thing to do before you remove the battery is to remove that 12 mm screw which is tighted onto a clip which holds this battery in place. I didn't bring the 12 mm teeth for this, so I'll have to remove it through some sort of improvisation, and then you can disconnect the battery terminals. Now this is the 12 mm screw along with the bracket that is holding the battery in place. Next, use the 10 mm spanner to remove the power terminals. Now before you remove the fuel filter here, you will have to remove these two fuel lines. This is one is for the inlet and one is the outlet. So there's a small clip here. You will have to press hold the clip and you can release the fuel line. See, those two are the hose lines. I've zoomed in. So one is the inlet fuel line, one is the outlet fuel line. You will have to remove both these fuel lines. Now you can remove both the hoses by just pressing this inwards and pulling the hose outwards. I can't do it with the camera held on one hand. I need both the hands for this. So you just have to press this and pull this hose outwards, and you can disconnect it. Now since I couldn't access the fuel lines freely, I'm removing this stuff that's in front of it. I removed a screw here, then there's a screw here that I'm removing right now, and I removed this screw. So there are three screws which you can remove with the help of a 10 mm spanner. I'll remove this, get this out of the way, and then probably I'll be able to access the fuel lines easily. So I'm removing this part as well. So I freed this thing in front. Now I have easy access for both my hands to remove the fuel lines. Now you can easily see the inlet and outlet fuel lines. So this is what we need to remove. Guys, I finally removed the inlet fuel pipe. It was very difficult. It wasn't coming. I think I was pulling it out the wrong way. Anyways, I'll show you how it looks right now. So this was the inlet pipe that I was struggling with. As you can see, the outlet fuel pipe, for the outlet fuel pipe, it came out easily, but this connector was here. So when I was trying to remove the inlet pipe, I was trying to remove it from here. So I think that was wrong, because this whole connector removed from this pipe. So this is the inlet pipe, and from this inlet hose has been removed. So this is how the inlet hose looks, and this is how the outlet hose looks like. Okay, and the next step is to remove this water sensor connector. And this, what I removed in front, is the ECU, I guess. This is the Bosch ECU. So removing the water sensor connector is pretty easy. All you have to do is press this button inside and pull this outside. This is pretty easy. Now this is the water sensor connector. And after this step, it's pretty straightforward. You can remove these two nuts with the help of a 10mm spanner. And removing the one beneath is a bit difficult. I'll have to find a way to remove that. Now to get proper access to the bottom nut of the bracket, I had to remove this earth wire also. So I had to remove this bolt. So this will free up some space to access the bottom nut. Now all you need to remove the 10mm screws for the filter housing is a tool like this. This is a 10mm socket with a T-like wrench. Just fix it together. Just fix it together like this and remove the 10mm screws. So I finally got the filter housing out. Now all we have to do is remove the fuel filter cartridge from this housing, and that's it. And then replace the fuel filter. Now to remove the filter cartridge from the housing, you have two 12mm nuts that you have to remove from here and here. And you have two 10mm screws that you have to remove from here and here. And this should release the filter cartridge from the housing. You need to remove the water sensor from this hook, like so. That's it, and then the filter cartridge will release freely. That's it. So now next step is to remove this cartridge from here. I'll show you how to do that. So now to remove the cartridge from this top housing, you'll need a tool like this, a belt tool like this. It cost me 270 rupees. I'll show you how to use it. So while you remove the water sensor, just turn it anti-clockwise like this. And the water sensor should come out easily like this. But be warned, while you remove this, diesel will come out from this. I already captured the diesel that came out of this filter. I'm just doing this again to illustrate it for you guys. I saved around 250 to 350 ml of diesel. At the rate at which fuel prices are going in India, even this is very precious right now. Can't pour this back into your fuel tank because this is contaminated fuel. So next I'll show you how to remove this filter cartridge from the housing. So removing the filter from this top housing is actually a bit of a task with this tool. It is very difficult, but I somehow improvised again by keeping it on the floor, holding my foot against this portion, but being careful not to damage these pipes. So you have to be very careful. I kept a cloth underneath so that these pipes don't get damaged, and then I rotated with this. I just kept it inside this like so. Once you rotate it, the cartridge gets loose. So that's it. The filter cartridge comes out of this housing. This is how the housing looks like. Now all you have to do is get the new filter cartridge and screw it onto the housing. Now this is the old filter cartridge and this is the new filter cartridge. You don't need this plastic cover. Just remove this off. Now before you screw the filter cartridge onto this housing, there's an important step that you need to do. Now the next step is to connect the water sensor back into the filter cartridge, like so. Just screw it back in place. Just tighten it enough. This will do. And the next important step is to fill this fuel filter with fresh diesel. Just lubricate the O-ring on top of this filter with this diesel fuel itself. And now you can screw it back onto the top housing. You should be sure that there's an O-ring around this housing right here, so don't lose that. Next, use this belt to really tighten it. So I've tightened this filter cartridge onto the top housing. It's pretty tight right now. So next step is to fit the filter assembly on top of this. So the next step is to place this assembly like this and use the 12 mm nuts to screw it tight. So next step is to tighten the 10 mm screws and the 12 mm nuts. And the next step is to place the fuel lines inside this bracket. Push it tight. That's it. Then place the water sensor inside this bracket. That's it. So your filter housing is ready. So the next step is to place this inside the engine compartment. Now for tightening the bottom 10 mm nut, again you need to use the same tool. So in the next step you'll have to connect the fuel inlet hose like this and leave the fuel outlet open, and then connect the water sensor connector. Where is that? Yeah, connect the water sensor connector back. So the water sensor is connected, and also the fuel inlet hose is connected. Leave the fuel outlet open, and what you'll have to do next is just keep pumping it, keep pressing. When you press it, the fuel comes out. So in the next step you'll have to connect the fuel outlet pipe like so. So once you connect the fuel outlet hose, make sure there's a clicking sound, and then as a last step you'll have to keep pumping the fuel pump till you can't pump it anymore. So just keep pumping it so that the fuel line goes inside. So just keep pumping this, keep pumping it till it gets locked. That is, you can't pump anymore. Just keep pumping it. It's really tight, you can't pump anymore. So that's when you should stop pumping. It's very tight. So the next step is all the reverse. Just put the ECU and the battery back, and that's it. So now it's the moment of truth, guys. Everything is back in place. The fuel filter is back in place. The battery, the ECU, everything is bolted on properly. Now let's start the engine and see if everything is okay. Alright guys, we're going to start the engine. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. We'll just let the engine run for a while, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and let's hope everything's okay. Yeah, so the fuel filter change DIY was a success. The car's working fine, there are no issues at all. I did take some extra time because I had to remove the ECU bracket as well, since I couldn't access the fuel lines as well as the filter housing brackets nuts. It was underneath, so I had to remove the ECU bracket to access that. I have documented that in this DIY. And I hope you guys enjoyed and found this DIY informative. If you did, please do hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel. I do have a few other DIYs in my DIY playlist, so please do subscribe and do watch those videos as well. Until next time, this is Stan signing out. Bye bye.